Okay, so it's kind of a windy day to be doing a video blog, but it's the last opportunity I'll really have to do this one in particular, because this is my last day officially on the University of Arkansas campus. Here with my buddy James, who's come to hang out with me on my last day of work. As you all know, I graduated about a year and a half ago. I'm standing here on Senior Walk. We're right here, class of 1906, and they've later added the years beforehand, but 1906 was the year in which the senior class, sorry, the wind is blasting us here. The senior class 1906 wrote their names there in the concrete to celebrate their graduation, and it's become kind of a tradition here at the University of Arkansas, right here in front of the main, which for a long time was the only building on campus. Until I believe, what was it, the 60s, they said there was a fire. They added more buildings after that. But in the 60s there was a fire, and it wasn't fully renovated until 1991. And yeah, 7 years later, I would graduate high school and start my career here at the University of Arkansas as a student. I started in computer engineering.
Then what?
Then I moved to computer science. Then I moved to computer science. That was after a few years of fighting the math department over calculus, because the calculus program at the time was pretty much evil, and I had to actually, I'm being exaggerating there. Calculus class at the time, though, was the bane in my
bane of your
paw.
existence.
Yes, the bane of my existence, the thorn in my paw. Let's not mix metaphors. And yeah, it basically ended up with me not being able to get my prerequisites done, and having pretty much, it was like being held back for about a year and a half. Yeah, kind of sucked. So I ended up switching to computer science. At the time, computer science and the computer engineering departments were beginning to merge into one, well, like they are now, computer science, computer engineering. And that basically helped me out a lot, because it meant that a lot of the classes I had taken as computer engineering student will now transfer and count as credit in computer science. The way it is today, those classes that were different are now one and the same class. It actually changed the way they teach the material. But where was I going with this?
It was now easier for you to graduate.
Yes, it made it a lot easier for me to get. It made it a lot easier for me to suddenly belch in the middle of talking. No, but it made it easier for me to switch between the 2 degrees and my pen to fall out of my pocket.
I got it.
Thank you. I don't know how the hell that made its way out of the pocket, but it did.
It happens. Moving forward.
Moving forward, yes. So I still had problems with the calculus, one of which was really, I got screwed up because I had a calculus teacher who I later found out refused to follow the curriculum set by the course coordinator at that time. And I believe they still do have so many people taking calculus at any one time that they have a lot of teachers teaching it. But for the test taking purposes, all the tests are the same, written by the course coordinator. Problem was, the particular guy I had wanted to teach it his way, wanted to grade it his way,
Bastard.
and it kind of screwed me up, He was one of these teachers that would say, "Oh yeah, you're doing fine, you'll do all right," and then give you an F.
Oh,
So,
hate those kind.
after taking calculus and calculus 2 4 times, in the summer of 2003, I was academically dismissed from the University of Arkansas. That's right, I was kicked out of school.
Bastards.
Doing good on time. So, what happened? Well,
What happened after that?
the problem that created was interesting, in that 2003, at the end of that spring semester, I had chosen to move off campus, move out of the dorms, because most of my friends from the dorms had graduated or were moving on, and the ones that hadn't didn't want to live in the dorms anymore because everybody was gone and the dorms sucked. So a friend of mine and I, we were going in an apartment together, and we had already signed the lease when I found out, oh hey, you're kicked out of school. So I kind of had to make a decision.
What was that?
What was that decision indeed? Basically what I had to do, I made a promise to my parents, myself, and to a lesser extent my friend that I was rooming with, that I was going to come back up here. Pretty much find a job, pay for my living expenses, gas and whatnot, of course insurance and tuition and stuff like that, my parents said they'd still cover. But because I was academically dismissed, my first order of business was get a job, start taking classes at the local community college up here, and get back into school. So 12 hours at Northwest Arkansas Community College, and retaking all of the calculus I had here, and taking a physics course, each which scoring, I'm trying to think, a B or better, I believe. So did much better there than I did here. Same book, same curriculum, better teachers. So the job I had taken obviously was working control officer at the University of Arkansas, which is where I met my friend James here.
Hello.
And after 4 years of going to school part-time, working pretty much full-time, I finally finished up in August of 2008. 10 years after I started. So 10 years after I started. Unfortunately, that's when the economy went bad. And for the next year and a half, I was applying for jobs, not getting jobs. Until a couple weeks ago, in which a huge flurry of activity ended up with me getting a job.
Yay!
Funny thing, to end all this up, just before I got said job, well, I found this. See, the senior walk tradition continued on after the class of 1906, so that everyone who graduates with a bachelor's or above gets their name written in senior walk. So one day I found my name in senior walk. Less than a week later, I was offered a good job with the degree I earned here. All of this 5 years after being kicked out of the university. Life's finally good. Any last words?
No.
Bye.